Welcome back everybody, it's Jay from the GBUKJai and we're here with Hogwild in the Crash Bandicoot 100% Let's Play, Redone, Revisit. Here we go. Now, this is very simple. You're always going forward. Pretty much that's how like all these animal levels are. There's only two hog levels and you only do the second hog level if you're going for 100% because basically it's a hidden level. Well, you don't even need to go for 100% to be fair. You just need to unlock the level. But it's not necessary to do this normally. But if you're going for 100%, that's why you want to unlock this level. And you get the keys from Sunset Vista for a secret bonus level, Cortex Head bonus level, which we will do. But for now, this is the main one, and it's simple. Wow. Wow, I must be off my game today. I also say it's simple. It kind of clipped me. I wasn't expecting that. Well, never mind. Good start. So yeah, it's very simple. Later in Crash Bandicoot 2, you have the polar bear that you ride, which has a boost. And in Crash 3, you have a baby tiger, which has a permanent boost if you hold the circle button down. But this is very simple. Literally, you just jump, dodge the pillars, dodge the villagers with the shields. I guess it's just like, yeah, you know, keep out. They're just obstacles, another set of obstacles. We're in basically Papu Papu's territory, and it's like, hey, this is my village. So he's just trying to like stop us, I guess. We're trying to just get off the island, honestly, and save our girlfriend at this point. I don't know why you should bother Crash. She leaves you like immediately. Like, how dare she? Cheating. But there you go. And she apparently leaves for Pinstripe, which we'll see later on. He's a little bit crazy with his Tommy gun. His Tommy gun's like his best friend, shall we say. Well, it's not even just Tommy gun, it's more like a machine gun, but it looks like a Tommy gun. It's really like a machine gun. Honestly. Right, there you go. We can get the gem for this one, so that's good. But yeah, in this game, how it works is you basically have to collect all the boxes to get the gem at the end of the level, and that leads up to a 100%. And arguably the true ending, I would say honestly the true ending is beating Cortex, but it's kind of like an alternate ending where you don't have to fight Cortex and you get backstory for the bosses that you fight, actually. Because as I was saying before, that there's the optional embryo bonus stages, and like the Tana head that we just got there, it's just for lives, but you don't get anything for it. You don't get no save or anything. It's just for lives, and I guess for a challenge aspect, but there's no real point. They're just kind of there. The Cortex one, however, gives you a key, so it has a purpose. But the embryo one is just kind of there. I may show it off if I manage to get the heads, but I won't like actively go after them because I feel like there's no need. But you know, just for like showing off, I guess, you know, like in that sort of sense. Of course, we've got the Witch Doctor mask known as Aku Aku, which is basically your hit. So like with Sonic, if he collects a ring, you know, he can take a hit, and as long as he has a ring, he'll be okay. And it's the same with Crash, but like there's only one Aku Aku, so once you lose him, that's it. But you can stack masks. So if I get two masks, he basically becomes orange, and that indicates, oh, you've got two masks now, which means I can take two hits. If you get three masks, you get temporary invincibility, and then after a while it wears off, and you basically have two masks again. So, you know, if you can keep the mask on, then you can just keep being invincible. But sometimes being invincible actually isn't helpful, believe it or not. Nice. We'll be getting a lot of lives, probably 99 lives by the end of this game. Well, no, let's do another Tana bonus round. We don't really need to do it, but I'll just save it, sure. I say we're also doing this to save. We can save using the gems, but you don't need to do this for the box gem. This doesn't go towards it or anything, so it's just kind of over there to get lives and to save. It's not necessary other than that. But it's your only means. It's either that or to collect a gem is your means of saving. There's no like, it's not like in Crash Bandicoot 2 where you have the warp room and you go up to you just walk up to the screen and you save. Same with like Crash 3 and so on. Or you can't just press start and save. Like modern games, you know, have a lot of like auto save features nowadays. Nothing like that. This is very simple. This is like password, or you have to do a bonus round to save. And that's pretty much it. Ooh. Now, I can't get the gem for this one either because this requires the red gem, which you can get at Slippery Climb, which is notorious for being a hard level. But there is a harder version of it, not in the game. Well, I think it is in the game, but they took it out. Like they made it so you can't do it. It's, you know. But people have managed to get a hold of it and try it out, and it is much harder than Slippery Climb. So if you've ever had a hard time playing Slippery Climb, it is nothing compared to this other version of it, which was meant to be in there. I'm not sure where exactly it was meant to be placed in the level, but it was meant to be there. That's all I can tell you. It's the name of it is actually called Stormy Ascent. And it's literally what you think. You go up to only go all the way down again. And I believe there's literally one checkpoint. One. Is there a... Yeah, there's a life. I'm getting the lives. Why not? Not expecting a game over today. So yeah, it literally just has one. One checkpoint. So it's pretty brutal. So you can kind of see... Well, even just that. Like, you see it. It's hard. Like, you're like, wow. If you don't get any boxes, but you don't die, because you have to not die in order to get the gem. Yeah, the game punishes you hard. Here's up the creek, the other water level I was telling you about, the scene, you know, the kind of the rivery place. Lovely. I mean, that water is very simple, but I think it looks great. Like, really nice. It's very colourful, very bright, very vibrant. It, you know, really sticks out. It's nice, you know. They provide a decent challenge. I mean, water's pretty much your bottomless pit, so you don't want to be falling. But that's mainly a lot of the things that's in this game. There's a lot of bottomless pits. I mean, it's not so bad in Crash 2 and Crash 3, but in this game it's very heavily... does kind of feel like everything's trying to kill you in this game, more so than the other games. But I mean, I don't know. It's the first game. Yeah, I guess you can kind of forgive it. I'm pretty certain I can do this level, so I'm gonna try not to die and talk at the same time. But we'll see how well that goes. We've got these fly trappers, Venus fly traps. The green ones, they only activate when you stand on them. The blue ones are timed. You also have this random monkey just on this bridge, and he makes a return in Crash Bandicoot 2, but he's been mechanized, so Cortex been busy. He's like, oh yeah, this monkey's been very useful in my plans for world domination, so I will bring him back and mechanize him. It's like, okay. He has a much stronger brother, Kong, in Crash 2. So what we want to do is want to hit that box here, and normally that exclamation box, right, is used for invisible outline boxes to make them appear. Now in this game, it's not the case. So yeah. Ah, crap! I fucked that up. So I have to do it again. But I always think there's a box there, but it's just a life. You just need to hit the TNT and then bounce back up. That's all you need to do. But I faffed about with that. That's fine. I didn't say it was a perfect run. I just hoped that it would be a better quality one. Hopefully I don't take too long, but you know, I am talking, and believe it or not, it's actually hard to talk and play at the same time sometimes. It kind of depends. Even if you know a game, you can sometimes have that issue. Okay. I mistimed my spin jump. But never mind. Spin jump is basically just X and square at the same time. I don't think it really makes much difference in this game. In like later games like Crash 2 and Crash 3, you can do like a slide, spin, jump, where you kind of get like a bit of more distance and more height by doing that. I don't think it really matters in this game, but say like you've got the flying fish in the way, right? What you can do is you can press X and square at the same time, so you can spin them in the mid-air, so you don't have to wait for them. Because sometimes I'll put them in the way, where you're like, okay, the leaf platform's right there. How am I meant to jump? How am I meant to avoid this damn flying fish? And what you can do is you can basically just press the square and the X button at the same time. But Crash does have a limited amount of spins in this game, believe it or not. You're probably thinking, what? What do you mean? Basically, if you spam the square button, after a while, he won't spin, and he'll just hear like a weird sound, like a distorted spin sound, I suppose, and you're thinking, what is that? So you have to be careful not to go crazy and spam that square button, because, yeah, he will literally just, he won't spin. You can actually spin to get a slight boost in speed. Like, I used to do that on the boulder levels because I couldn't zigzag. So I would just spin. It's very slight though. It's very slight. But it does give you a tiny bit of a boost. The spinning does actually push you. It does give you a bit of momentum. And what I found out is not only does that you can stand on the platform or just jump on the platform and then you land and you spin, but the spin, I guess, still thinks that you're moving, and so it pushes you a little bit over the edge and then you die. So you gotta be careful with the spin in this game. Yeah, well, I don't really need it. Just means of traveling. There we go. You also get to see the percent. Your girlfriend presents you with the percent of how far you've gotten. So it's like, here you go. As you can see there, it says we've got 10 levels have gone through, 32 levels in altogether. So we've got 20 levels to get through. No keys, and only got 3 gems at the moment. So there is 2 keys that we need to get to unlock 2 levels. And we need to get the gem for them as well in order to get 100%. Of course, I'll be showing off both endings. The endings are literally next to each other. So hopefully I've done everything correctly, and before I haven't. But I hope I have. Did I miss anything? Yay! Alright, so where does this leave our percent? 27, okay. After we're actually about to do a boss. This boss isn't really that hard, honestly. The bosses in this game aren't really that hard. But the level after this, Lost City, has a color gem which is unique, which I'll explain as we go through. But here comes Ripperoo. Oh, hang on a sec. Just checking the what time are we at? Yeah, here comes the second boss, Ripperoo here. I mean, look. I mean, they bandaged him up. He doesn't have any arms. He's basically like bandaged up like a crazy person, like he's in a psychiatric ward or something. And he is pretty crazy. You look at that profile, he's pretty damn crazy. He seems to be like kind of like a TNT specialist, I guess. Well, I don't know about specialist, but wherever he goes, it seems to be TNTs. In this case, it seems to be a giant TNT. If you want to be like really clever, I guess, and do this really fast, you can actually time it so that you can just defeat him really quickly, because you get given 3 masks basically. Watch this. You get 2 free masks for the boss fights, right? You don't really need it, but you get it. So what you could do is you could just wait for his animation, and then if there's a TNT right next to him, you could spin it. You'll get hit, but you've got an Aku mask, and you lose them anyway, I'm pretty certain, afterwards. So you could just cheese it that way. Speaking of masks, we've got another one. I also think the Aku invincibility is one of my favourite sounding invincibilities. As I shoot in my Crash Bandicoot review that I did. So that was fun. Oop, oop. We've got the bats in this level, which I despise. They are a nuisance. The best way to get rid of them is to Stop the trails right there. Once you stop the trails, they stop coming. But they are a nuisance, and especially when you're like speed running. Okay, we got the Brio head there, so we're gonna try and go for the Brio just to show it off. Oh no, ooh, gotta be careful, gotta be careful. Surprised how many times I've died there. Yeah, I don't even need the I could just use the platform in the middle. So, okay, you don't have to stop them, but if you're like having a hard time, you can cut them off, and then they won't, come after you anymore. I'm gonna wait here just to be safe. This is basically the easier version of Sunset Vista. Sunset Vista is the hard version of the game, and that has the Cortex bonus round as well, which isn't easy. I mean, they're not meant to be. The Tana ones is just meant to be your free bonus level. Really, they're not really that hard, but the Cortex and the Brio ones are meant to be difficult. I mean, hey, Cortex is your enemy. Brio works for him, so he's technically your enemy as well. So it kind of makes sense, really. Here we go. Now we got these chameleons, which they follow you, but the green ones don't. But you can just like jump, spin them, and they go away, or you can just jump on them. Speaking of Brio, here he is, the mad scientist himself. I think he's a pretty cool character. So yeah, lots of TNTs, bottomless pits everywhere you go. But it's just lives. And there he is. And then he just blows himself, well, not blows himself up, but he just randomly teleports by throwing 2 potions together. Don't know how he did it, but he does. There we go. Again, not necessary, just kind of there. You want to get some lives, you want to challenge yourself, here you go. I like this. I'm just going to stand here. You got like a picture of, I believe it's the final island actually in the background. And this is also a somewhat nice looking level, very sunset-y. Very... Okay. Oh, that sucks. Gemin, which is the green one. Now, we can backtrack, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to backtrack when I have more gems, because it's just easier to backtrack then rather than to backtrack now, because then I just have to progress and then backtrack again. So here we get the green gem, and then basically we could go back to the second level and do that, but we're not going to do that yet. We're going to wait until we get other gems, and then we could just do all the levels that way, so we don't have to backtrack multiple times. So that's what we'll do. We'll do it all in one go, basically. Alright, we're on to Temple Ruins. We've got a new level here, which is basically inside, like I say, like an old ruined temple. Ooh, I can't even see where I am. Where am I? Oh, okay. I was kind of worried. I was like, where am I? I think I can get the gem for this. Got these snakes here. Got this somewhat ominous music. Like, if you hear it. Meant to be dark and spooky. Very challenging. I think your perception will be challenged here. So, if you're not very good at, like, certain positions, like here, you can see you got these platforms here. You got to make sure you obviously time yourself correctly, position yourself correctly, because you might think, oh, am I near enough? Am I not near enough? Should I jump a bit more? Should I jump a bit less? Again, another thing I mentioned in my review is your perception. You must be very careful in this game, because you think you're near it and then you're not. Spiders! They're spiders. Yeah, they're just kind of there. They just randomly appear. They are in other levels as well, but they don't really appear too often. Now, there are 2 levels of these. There's one on the 3rd one, which is a bit harder than this one, which you need the blue gem for, which I believe, I actually can't remember what level is the blue gem, actually. What is the blue gem level? We think it might be toxic waste, possibly. I thought I was gonna get hit there. Ah, really? That sucks. I'm not doing very well today. What time are we at? Okay, we're okay. Yeah. I'm not doing very well though. I'm doing very silly things. You can actually kind of spin into the. I don't really want to do it right now, but yeah, like that. Look, you can spin as they appear. You can spin into them. Seems like Crash has a bit of invincibility, which is interesting, really. Like I didn't know that. So yeah, the more you know. Again, another thing that people are mentioning, because they're like speedrunning, it's like, yeah, like Crash has a bit of invincibility on his spin, so you can actually spin through certain things, and that's one of the things you can do, which, cool. Crash spin just might be OP in this game. Just might be OP. There we go, got the spider again. Ooh. Yeah, wait for the flame. There we go. So all the bosses in this game are basically bosses that have been experimented on. I think Pinstripe might be the only one. I mean, granted, he could talk, so you could argue, oh, animals could talk. Crash is the only one who doesn't really talk. Like later on, his sister Coco talks, but Crash can't talk. He makes like little sounds and stuff, and in the later games, they kind of make him talk gibberish, but he's not really talking. Although it sounds like everyone pretty much knows what he's saying, apart from us. So he's just kind of jibber jabber, quit yo jibber jabber, and everyone just is like, yeah, I know what he just said. Sure, yeah, I'll just pretend like I know exactly what he said. So in some of these levels, as you might oh no. No. I had an itch, and I was trying to just quickly itch without pausing, and I slid off. So that's what I get for not just pausing, I suppose. For God's sake. I'm doing way worse. Believe me, I'm making this harder than what it actually is. Obviously this game is very tight, precise platforming, and it is difficult. Don't get me wrong, this game is hard. Even if I'm like only dying like once or twice, it is hard. Like it is, especially growing up playing this game. It is very difficult. It's one of the hardest platforming games on the PS1. The PS1 had a lot of hard games on it. Just to name some, obviously Crash Bandicoot 1, the first ever Rayman game. As beautiful as it is, it's a very hard game. Not the kind of game that a kid would normally be able to beat. It's hard. It's really hard. You've also got Croc Legend of the Gobbos. Again, a very adorable game. The soundtrack is absolutely beautiful. I like the levels. Just the controls are really bad. It's hard. It's a very difficult game as well. They do somewhat improve in Croc 2, but yeah, overall another difficult game. And Oddworld, you've got the Oddworld Abe's Odyssey and Oddworld Abe's Exodus, which also got a remake, a remaster called, I also say Munch's Odyssey, but that's actually another game. New and Tasty, which I have for Steam. You can get it for PS4 as well. Fantastic remake. Like, if anyone's interested and haven't got it yet, I'd pick it up if you can. I think it's the best way to play Oddworld. And I believe that there's possibly an Exodus remake coming in as well at some point. I don't know when, but that's what I've heard. So yeah, but really hard game, really hard PS1 game. It's kind of like a stealth platformer, but it's really hard. Like, it's hard because you basically can't get a game over. You could die as many times as you want. It's like how much punishment can you take before eventually you get through. A lot of trial and error, you know. It's definitely a lot of trial and error in the game. But yeah, the PS1, lots of hard games, man. And there's probably more. Spyro really was like the one that didn't really punish you. Like Spyro came after like Crash and that. Because in Crash Bandicoot 3, if I remember correctly, you could play a demo, I think, of either Spyro 1 or 2. And they kind of did that. Like I believe in Team Racing, I think you could play either Spyro 2 or Year of the Dragon or something like that. And a lot of the time they would actually like advertise in the instructions manual. Like you go to the end of the instruction manual and it will have Spyro on the back, and you're like, who's this purple dragon-like creature? And these were two separate companies. You've got Insomniac and Naughty Dog, were the creators for the classic Crash Bandicoot games, all the way up to Team Racing, and then after that it was basically the people at Activision. I think the actual people within Activision, but not Activision specifically. But most people will know it as Activision. Did I get the gem for that? I did, so that's good. And they did Crash Bash, and they did like Wrath of Cortex, and later games basically. And they're actually handling the N.Sane Trilogy, which has got people a bit rattled. But I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like with how it bollocks without it danger with oh yeah, you can hug on the ropes there. It's very tight though. You can, even if you don't do it properly, you can kind of just keep jumping like this. You like just keep pressing the X button. You don't even have to stand on it. The Hulks make a return. You can't hit them though, and they keep going back and forth. Watch out, they're pretty much invincible, so you want to avoid them. If you jump on top of here, if I could just reach it, there's a life. You can kind of see it from the distance. But yeah, you can jump on the ropes. But what was I saying? People were hesitant because it was the same people that basically did what was it? The Skylanders, which I'm personally not a fan of. So people are like, oh no, you know, like it's these people. Is this remake going to be bad? I can't do this level anyway. I can't do the gem anyway. We need the red gem for this, which is from a Slippery Climb. So it's fine. But what was I going to say? Basically, yeah, people are hesitant, but I feel like people are not so hesitant. I feel like they've got a bit more hope now with what they've seen. I mean, if you're someone who's been to like a convention or something and have got a chance to play it, if you were hesitant, maybe you're like, oh, you know, it's fine now, you know, we're all good. It's actually, you know, it's going to be really fun to play. Or you could just be like someone who looked at it the first time and like, yeah, no, this is going to be good, and you just played it and you love it so far. At this point, they show some footage of Hang 8 from Crash Bandicoot 2, which looks absolutely phenomenal. So I do have high hopes for it. I really do. I've already ordered it for PS4, so I will be playing it and I will be recording it for the channel. Whew. With that being said, in the next episode of Crash Bandicoot 100%, we will be going into Boulder Dash. I hope you've enjoyed. I've been Jay from the GBUKJai, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Till then, guys,